and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
President
of the Borough of the Bronx
President of the Borough of the Bronx,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't think there has been a singular individual in the history of this borough whose vision and passion for the Bronx has led to such a dramatic change. I remember in those early days hearing a young Ruben Diaz Jr. talk about the Bronx and Sheridan, talk about the history of abandonment in the borough, talk about the heydays of Orchard Beach and the experiences that he had as a kid, talking about the need for restoration of the Bronx River and cleanup of neighborhoods and quality of life. He always looked at the little things, like you can't drive down the highway and not notice whether there's garbage on the side of the road and call the commissioner and say, what's going on here? Like, it's the little things and it's the big things that have always captivated his attention.
Ruben Diaz Jr. is more than just a borough president to me. He's become a friend. He gets the idea that in the Bronx we need special kind of help. He cares about the Italian market. He cares about the parking situation. He's helped the market. Now we have funding coming in.
I've gotten to know him over the course of the years on many different levels. Totally community person, walk the streets. And if our businesses have problems, he's a person to go to because he will figure out a solution to put the people together.
I remember one day being in Ruben's office, and we just had lamented about how the Bronx was last in everything good and first in everything bad. And he and I said, we have to, we're, the young guys, we were young then, that we have to be the ones to kind of change this narrative for the Bronx.
We're not sitting idly by and watching our borough change. Rather, we are actively guiding the progress of the Bronx and doing everything that we can to ensure that the future is for everyone. As a young boy, I remember not having playgrounds that were adequate. And think about what we've done, over $400 million, public dollars, invested in our green spaces, our waterfront and public parks. We've turned empty, dilapidated lots and created oases, whether it's residential opportunities for over 45,000 units in the last 10 years alone. We've been able to create employment opportunities. I remember when I first got here to Borough Hall, the unemployment rate was 14.2, 14.3%, and now it's a little over 5.3%. Look what we've been able to do with ferry service, with transportation alternatives, how we've cleaned up the Bronx River, how we've done the Bronx and Sheridan interchange, making sure that the state heard us out and financed, thanks to the governor, 4 Metro North stations. And these are all the things that we've been able to do, and so people are starting to feel better about this beautiful borough that we call our home.
Ruben actually put together a meeting when he first became borough president. This is way even before I became speaker, when we talked about how badly we needed a community center in this neighborhood. Ruben was the first one to say that, he would put up his share of money to make sure that this community had a community center. So we worked well on the YMCA that hopefully a year from now, kids will be enjoying it and swimming in it, and families and seniors and everybody. Something we called the YMCA the unicorn. It was this mythical thing that we knew existed, but now Ruben helped to bring the unicorn to be real.
For me to now look around and see what's happening, see that the Kingsbridge Armory is being developed into a brand new economic engine for the borough, seeing that Orchard Beach is receiving investments that we would have never envisioned coming our way to transform it to its best days, to see these major projects, the development of housing, the park infrastructure, the cleanup of the river, all of these issues start and go back to Ruben Diaz Jr.'s advocacy and bringing those issues to light and making sure that they never fall off the priority list.
It feels really good when our leadership has always seen the best in everything that is our borough. And that message has resonated across the country. And after all these years, look where we are. The Bronx is a go-to. Here we are 10 years later. The businesses are stronger than ever. You have seen such a growth in the development of businesses that people would never thought would come to the Bronx.
We've been leading the Bronx in the right direction. We've been making sure that we're creating jobs, creating affordable housing. We've been fixing up our parks. We've been doing a lot of great things because we are a team that's working to make a better Bronx. The best day or the most fulfilling day of my borough presidency goes back to September 20th, 2017, when we were outside on Aldous Avenue and Southern Boulevard collecting materials, collecting supplies for the people of Puerto Rico subsequent to Hurricane Maria, which was the most devastating hurricane in the Western Hemisphere, and I think over 100 years. It completely devastated the island. And I saw how many Bronxites and so many different communities, whether they were Puerto Rican or not, whether they ever visited Puerto Rico or not, whether they had family members there or not, how folks came together. The spirit of the Bronx was on national display. Bringing people together has always been important to me. When you look at neighborhoods like Riverdale and making sure that we work together with Drosnick, whether it's the South Bronx or Woodlawn, Co-op City or Kingsbridge, you know, everybody understands that we're all in this together. One of the most horrific and tragic days for me as a borough president is when we and the entire world saw the videos of Alessandro Guzman Feliz get butchered over there in Bathgate. Everybody knows him as Junior. He's a 15-year-old boy who had all of the promise in the world.
He was been doing good at the time when his tragedy happened. He was in the school having the great grades at the school. At the same time, he was on the Explorer program. Immediately after that, to see the Bronx community come together, people mourn with the family and hurt with the mom and the dad and his siblings. It was a very dark cloud over our borough. But we knew that we could not let Junior die in bed. We knew that we had to do something to continue to speak of a brighter future and to instill hope in our children. We were able to bring the governor of the state of New York and made this huge announcement and making sure that the state invested. So we came up with the concept of Camp Junior. I'm very happy and grateful with Ruben Diaz in what he did for me and for my son to try to keep helping the people from the community and take the kid out of the street. And we sent our first cohort of Bronx kids who have never experienced the outdoors. And we're hoping that this continues. Not only do we want our kids to be able to be exposed to nature and to new surroundings, but it's a way for them to create their own networks. To thank Ruben Diaz for all what he did. My hopes for the future of the Bronx is that people continue to thrive here, that we create jobs, that we do so in a way where people are not displaced. My future in the Bronx is, of course, to have so many different institutions thrive. The future of the Bronx for me is one where we'll have the Hip Hop Museum and it will be a global destination point. The future of the Bronx for me is one where we'll continue to invest in transportation alternatives, that we can expand on ferry services. The future of the Bronx is where we continue to reduce the crime rate, where every family feels safe. My future of the Bronx for me is one where every child feels like they're getting the best education possible, where we embrace our diversity, where we continue to help small businesses, where people are living healthier and longer lives so they can stick around and benefit from all of the progress that we've already started to implement. So I believe that the future of the Bronx is strong. He's amazing, he's good, he's very intelligent. He's been helping the community and he's the kind of person that we need to keep it in our life, because he feels for humble peoples. He feels for the community, and I love him, it's amazing.
I think he's a good borough president. He look out for people.
I think he's wonderful, he's great, he's a good, he's just really a good person, and I think he cares, I know he loves the people.
Very fair guy, very reasonable, meantime, and we love him dearly, especially Co-op City.
If you look at what's happened in the last decade plus, and Ruben's role in setting not only a tone in terms of the camaraderie and the working relationship amongst elected officials and community leaders, but being a voice for the Bronx, one that has projected well past the pain and the narratives of the burning Bronx to bringing hope, pride, and a sense of, accomplishment, and then matching that with actual results. No one has done more for this borough than Ruben Diaz Jr., and I am so proud to not only call him a friend, a neighbor, my constituent, my borough president, but truly to have been a part of and have watched as he has transformed this borough for the better.
And voila, this is a sandwich que tu non storda mai, that you'll never ever forget. That's the Ruben Diaz special.
I think history will show that Ruben was the greatest borough president this borough's ever had.